people set up for game number 3. And if we don't have any more new people jumping on for game number 3, then we will be switching out and opening up the queue for anyone else to jump in as well. Basically, what we're going to do is after getting all of the new people that have signed up right now for game number 3 in, then once they're loaded into the lobby, we will reset the queue, and it's a first come, first serve. Best of luck. So, Shout Hunter. All right, then what I will do is reset it so that way you can do it again. So,
you need not follow, but you must witness.
Why can't I see that? Oh, hey, Yuki, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that, my man. We do this every single Tuesday. You're welcome to come on by the Advent. The seal says you're going to log on to your Smurf. Good luck logging onto your Smurf. Feel free, but you can't join a second time. See, that's why I leave the queue logged in. So that way I got your number. You're trying to be all cool and stuff, but you can't tell us how much.
He literally has your number. It's on the queue.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, that's basically, yeah, let's scroll up here. He's number 0, guys. Oh, it's a shocker. Good try, though. Good try. Single Dads was pretty amazing, Janabot. Excited to see it happen again. To be truly fair, as we are going to talk about these bans in a second, the Janabot NA, Single Dads is the only team that we have had the name show up more than once on the overall team. So if you go to YouTube and you scroll through every single game that I've ever shoutcasted and uploaded to YouTube, Single Dads is the only team that shows up more than once. And to be completely honest, I try to keep names always different, and I completely slipped on that one. So congratulations, Single Dads. You're the one team that's been able to be played multiple times. And feel free to make as many Twitch accounts as you want and sign up. That's just more followers for myself. There was somebody on my last channel that made 15 accounts to follow my last channel. So that was pretty epic. But no I in team, banning away the Vlad, the Swain, the Brand. They really hate AP champions, picking up Riven. And we get the Orn Horn from Nerzulian, grabbing Orn for the side of this is fine.
I haven't seen an Orn picked up in a long time, looking like it's going right into the Riven in the top lane. Riven, very strong at the moment. Xin Zhao locked in from Magazium. Xin Zhao is one of those champions that if he gets ahead, he's very snowbally, especially in that middle stage of the game. Early game, he deals a lot of damage, but once he gets 1-2 items under his belt, some damage, he gets Red Smite with Warrior Enchant under his belt, then he's really scary. The Draven Hovered, will it be locked in? It's an all-or-nothing champion? Yes, it is locked in. Completely blind, mind you, which is a little bit risky. Locking Draven blind is because there are a lot of things that counter him out. A lot of compositions. Zataric, pretty much any heavy peel support really messes up Draven, unless he can outplay it. Because you just kind of put the stun on top of the Draven's axe, and he walks into it. And, okay, Braum. Yeah,
I like that from XLNC Ice. Great counter, throws up the Unbreakable Shield, can completely kill the Whirling Blades from Draven's ultimate, as well as once you stop those axes flying in midair, there's no reset. And so Draven has to... There is?
They fixed that bug.
Oh, okay. So do they actually bounce off of it so you can still run
they bounce off the shield. It used to eat them, and then that was like, okay, Draven doesn't exist if Braum is in the game, if he can't catch his axes. So they fixed that.
Yes. What about Yasuo's Wind Wall? Does that eat the axes?
I don't think so.
I think it should. Whether it does or it doesn't, I think that it should.
It might. I have never tested that interaction, so I can't say for sure. So, will some industrious individual in the chat please go to YouTube and see if Yasuo's Wind Wall eats Draven axes or not?
So it does eat them. It does completely. So there's no reset. There's no bounce. There's no nothing. Draven axe flies in. It's gone. That's the end of it. Is what Yuki and Zeno are saying in the chat. So it seems fairly likely. Yasuo's Warwick does. Every time I see WW together, it doesn't matter where, every time I see WW, I think Warwick. which is
confirmed. Yasuo has a pet Warwick.
Yes, Yasuo
Warwick
just throws
is
out
Yasuo's
Warwick,
dog.
and he eats everything that comes flying in. Plays fetch with every flying thing that comes in. Yasuo's Warwick plays fetch and goes and grabs it and keeps it from hitting Yasuo. That confirmed. All right. Anyway, it's just a super fast dog. That's why you see the dust kicked up from the Warwick running around, grabbing all of the incoming projectiles. Akali, Varus banned away by No Eye in team, as they're going to grab the Thresh and Gnar for the last 2 pick. I like Lord Reese grabbing up Gnar because we haven't seen this champion much before. So excited to see him play that one, as This Is Fine bans away 2 supports, which I do like, trying to make it a little more difficult to pair with Draven, taking the Pyke and the Morgana away, as they are going to grab Karthus. Intra played this last time for a decent playstyle, had a rough early game, definitely down in CS, but towards the late game, able to use some of those ultimates with really good timing and pick up some kills. So let's go ahead and roll through the players and their champions very quickly, and then we'll get into some fun analysis of these 2 teams. For the side of No Eye in team, we've got She's My Poison. Welcome back, playing the Riven in the top lane. Megasum taking the Xin Zhao in the jungle. Bears are the best with the Draven bottom lane AD carry. Vitrillion, it's been a while, but we're always glad to have you, taking the Thresh in the bottom lane supportive role. And Lord Reese on a new champion on the top side Gnar, unless it is a mid lane Gnar? Wait, hold on. Riven top lane mid lane Gnar? We'll see. As go ahead with This Is Fine.
And in case you didn't know, Gnar is the only champion Reeves can play top lane. So if he's ever top lane, ban Gnar, and then he'll feed.
Oh, there you go.
Can confirm, has happened. Anyway, and for the side of This Is Fine, we've got Nerzulian on Ornn in the top lane. No free names on Cho'Gath in the jungle. We've got XLNC Ice on Braum in the bottom lane supportive role. Project Jinx playing none other than the signature Jinx in the bottom lane ADC role. And Intra rounding it out with Karthus in the mid lane.
All right, so looking across these 2, I'm going to throw out a few quick thoughts, and that is that I love the front line from This Is Fine. The Cho'Gath and the Ornn, beautiful engage, beautiful tankiness, and Braum to protect Jinx on the backside. But unless Jinx or Karthus get kind of hyper carrying, they don't have much damage.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Draven's not exactly a hyper carry. I'm liking this Jinx composition. Basically, they've got what's used to be called a Jugger Jinx composition. You have 3 massive tanks who are good at peeling, and then you have a massive AD carry. You usually do this with a Kog'Maw or a Jinx. If they can peel for Jinx, and Karthus doesn't need to be alive to deal damage. So basically, this is a protect the Jinx composition, and they don't have a lot of assassination threat. If Xin Zhao gets huge, he has threat potential, and if Riven gets huge, she has threat potential. But aside from that, nobody really has the potential to one-shot the Jinx. You don't have something like an Akali or a Diana like we saw in the last game, or a Vladimir, which is really good at one-shotting. Anyway, so we've got Gnar. It looks like since the teleport has been changed over, Gnar is going to be in the top lane, and Riven, She's My Poison, going to be playing that champion in the mid lane is most likely right now. So Karthus into Riven, looking at that matchup, I'm going to say that is definitely heavily Riven favored. The mobility as well as the shielding and the early game damage against Karthus, who's pretty much the most immobile champion in that early game, or in the game in general. He really doesn't move around a lot, and Riven really just wants to all in those early phases of the game. So I'm anticipating Karthus maybe going down a few times unless he plays really, really safe. So we're going to be looking at jungle attention mid, perhaps. Not Xin Zhao. Cho'Gath ganking a Riven's going to be pretty tough. Now, Cho'Gath, the late game Baron potential of this team with the 2 tanks and the high DPS 80 carry is pretty good. If you drop Cho'Gath, Ornn, and Jinx on a Baron, they can 3-man it pretty easily if there's some items on the Jinx, just because, well, I mean, you're not going to kill Cho'Gath and Ornn if they're juggling aggro. It's just not going to happen. Anyway.
Shadowhunter brings up a really good point, which is on the side of no eye in team is full AD. Draven, Xin Zhao, Riven, Thresh support, and most likely that AD Gnar on the top side. So with that being a full AD team, there's some pretty good chance that the side of This Is Fine, mid to late game, their tanks are going to be able to build that straight armor and be able to tank up a lot more than you might usually see from their side.
Yeah, this is gonna, So late game, unless Jinx just gets entirely destroyed, unless both carries are entirely shut down, I'm giving this over, is it This Is Fine? Yeah, This is fine. Yeah, I'm giving it over to This Is Fine in the late game. Simply, like you said, with that full AD composition into 3 tanks, never a good thing. So also late game scaling potential. Now, of course, in the laning phase, Draven has a heavy advantage over Jinx. That's balanced out by this great pick by XLNC Ice, picking up the Braum. Kind of balances that out a little bit, keeps Jinx from getting surprised in one shot. But Vitrillion is a legend on this Thresh, so we'll see if he can manage to land some game-changing hooks.
It might be a death sentence for the side of This Is Fine.
Get out. You're stealing my job.
A little bit of step forward too much. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 2 of the night. XLNC Shoutcasting. We do this every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's going to be a blast while the champions are playing super safe and super boring early on into the game. We're going to note that it is an Infernal Drake as the first Drake of the game, so we might see some spicy fighting starting us up there. But I do want to note that we will be live September 1st at a convention, DragonCon 2018, in which we'll be casting a live tournament event. Wish us luck and send us as much caffeine as you can possibly imagine, because it's going to be real. We're going to have about 11 games that we'll be casting that day at a maximum. The last is a best of 5. There's some cheers for that as well. And so we'll find out whether or not... Oh, also, really quick, I wanted to know, because you're talking about the Thresh and Vitrillion. I recently, Wraith, just got 2 more S pluses on Thresh, which meant that I now have Mastery 7 on my Thresh, which feels real good. Feels real good, because I've been wanting that for a very long time, so...
And no, Cody, he's not more of a legend on Thresh than you. Well, maybe in this current... When was the last time we saw Thresh on stream, man? Come on, we got to get you in one of these games. Anyway, but yeah, glad to hear you got the Mastery 7. Bears our best. Dropping that early axe. Feels bad, man. Nerzulian having a hard time against Lord Reeves. Just throwing down the auto attacks. Really harassing, advantageous matchup, the level 2 tact, and if Nerzulian doesn't play back, he's going to be in a world of trouble.
So, Riven versus Karthus in the mid lane. Karthus a little bit of skittle poke, but Riven with the all-in at level 6. I'd love to see, as you said, level in the 2 picks and bans, a little bit of engage. Well, there's the level 2 from the Riven, though she's level 2 right now. We don't see anything too aggressive from her.
Yeah, level 3 is when she hits the apex of her early game power and then she spikes again at level 6.
Want to see that early jungle aggression, but Cho'Gath moves to the top side. Mega Gnar just finished cooling down, so Cho'Gath coming in. They aren't going to find the knockup. The flash forced out by Lord Reeves, though, playing safe. So there's some opportunities for the side of This Is team. There's the level 3 from She's My Poison, though, coming in. Just gets that harass, knocks Karthus down to half. He's going to skittle her on the way out. But opportunity for Cho'Gath to re-engage on the top side, as Xin Zhao's going to find some deep wards up there as well.
Yep. So, really pretty even now. Nerzulian having to chug 2 of his corrupting potion stacks. But Lord Reeves is down a flash, so he's playing very aggressively right here. If Cho'Gath makes a repeat gank, he might find himself in some trouble. Bears our best, dropping another axe. I'm just keeping track because I'm not a very good Draven. There was a time when I played Draven, but no more. I always drop my axe.
damage from Ornn. One of the things I like about Ornn on the top side, you can see there, is that even though he didn't get the damage onto the Gnar, he's still able to hit those minions and cause them to slightly push back. And the thing with Ornn in the top lane that I've noticed when I've played him up there is that you can actually lose the early game all right and still be massively impactful late game. Because, I'm sorry, you don't need a bunch of fancy items to get the ultimate off. The hook lands on a minion, though, from Vet. That is not what you want to see on the bottom side. The shield, unbreakable from Braum, keeps Jinx protected, but she's already down to half health. Cho'Gath coming in from the side, trying to get engaged down. The knockup will land onto Vetrillion. Can they find the stun? One more auto attack will get it. Vet flashes away with a sliver of health. The zap comes in from Jinx, just misses though. And Vetrillion able to escape with a sliver of health on the bottom side. Xin Zhao potentially there for a re-engage, but considering that it's only Draven, decides to think twice about that and backs
Oh,
off.
Nerzulian with that clutch auto attack, knocking Lord Reeves out of the crunch.
Whew.
Manages to deny him that engage. Very well played.
There's the best. A couple auto attacks on the Jinx across the wall, so...
Flash?
Flashed underneath the turret. He already used heal earlier as well, so it's a lot of summoners used by No Iron Team's bottom side. Even though no kills went down, Project Jinx still fairly low. Xin Zhao taking his Krugs could try to come back and re-engage. Mid lane, no kills early as we saw, but they are still even in CS as well. So Karthus trying the fancy play with just farming back, farming safely. Lord Reeves hanging on the top side. A little unfair from Ornn, able to back without backing. Just builds his own items up there. Karthus getting a little bit of damage onto She's Not Poison. Uses the exhausted Cho'Gath, flashes forward. Once find the knockup, forces the flash from the Riven as well. She's Not Poison able to escape out of that. This is the second or third flash. No, 1, 2, that's 3 flashes that Cho'Gath has burned in this game so far. As Entrance is gonna die. Yep, there it is. The engage from Riven. Uses the ignite.
That's what I figured.
She decides to go aggressive after having used the flash, not allowing Karthus time to harass her out of lane. Gets the early kill. Feels good about that. But Cho'Gath being pretty impactful so far this game. Hook lands onto the Braum's Unbreakable Shield. It's just action, so I keep on talking. Exhaust onto the Draven, though, as the members of This Is Fine going to back away.
Baron's Our Best has dropped both axes. They should play this out.
Well, they're half health each, and they haven't had a chance to back yet. So they're going to back out, go ahead, recall, buy some items. Jinx sitting on 1,400 gold, so maybe picking up an early BF sword. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know why it is, but the fact that Cho'Gath has gone to 3 lanes and caused 3 flashes just makes me happy.
Yeah, so the fact that Cho'Gath has had more early game impact as lane pressure than the Xin Zhao, who is supposed to be the early game ganking threat, is a little bit concerning, and also speaks to the playing power of no free names. Now, going back to that mini fight in the bottom lane, they really should have continued playing that out, noticing that Bears Our Best had expended all of his mana, couldn't pick up another axe with his current mana pool, and you knew he was down flash, knew he was down heal, and since you have heal advantage, even though you are at half health, you're technically even health. Jinx in minigun form gets bonus attack speed, which is massively impactful in the early game. When everybody's doing small amounts of damage, the faster you hit before you get damage items, the more damage you're going to do in the early game. So they really actually would have won that fight, even though it didn't look like it from the health pools.
Nice lantern, pulls Xin Zhao out to safety for a moment. He engages onto Jinx, but it's still a 3v2, a 4v3 as Draven and Karthus going to join in. The Flay pushes the Karthus back, but Xin Zhao's already died. Zap's gonna find Draven as well. Bears Our Best is in trouble. There's no shield, but a nice Flay throws all 4 members back, and Thresh sacrifices himself, but he cannot stop the ultimate from Karthus. Doesn't matter because Jinx flashes forward for the rocket on Draven. Karthus, you think you're gonna get 2 kills. JK, I'm gonna take at least 1 of them. And a beautiful play from This Is Fine gets them 3 kills on the bottom side.
Yep. And a heavy amount of turret damage, which might set them up for a quick knockdown. If they don't get it right now, I mean, Vetrillion and Draven are just coming down now, and the extra attack speed, they might be able to knock this down. Of course, Xin Zhao is coming in.
Oh, Nerzulian outplays Lord Reeves on the top side, just using the ultimate to zone the Gnar so that he's forced to hop to the side, which gives Ornn time to just continue to beat him down. No boots even, despite the Gnar actually having boots as well. That's a pretty decent outplay on the top side, or on the bottom side, sorry. The Flay pulls the Braum forward. It's just going to be the disengage, though, as that Unbreakable kind of keeps the members of No Eye and team from going too far forward as they lose that bottom side tower early on. So this is fine. It's carving themselves out a nice 2,000 gold lead.
Mm-hmm. And importantly, 1 kill and 2 assists are on that late game hyper carry that you have. Now, I didn't notice this, but Karthus is actually running Predator, giving him roaming potential and a... Wait a second. Okay, so Predator buffs your first spell. I wonder, if you pop Predator and then ult, does it buff the damage of your ultimate?
I'm not sure. Somebody who's more knowledgeable on me, even though I'm a caster and should know
could
this.
Some Karthus main, if those actually exist, could they...
nice Flay from the Thresh, despite being knocked up by the Braum Glacial Fissure.
No free
In the
names.
meantime, though, he's going to try to get the slow down. Draven extremely low. Project Jinx sitting at half, but there's no aggression. Draven's already gone with the Cho'Gath Feast. In the meantime, Magnesium was trying to solo the Drake, but Karthus going to take him out. The Trillion trying to get away. Flash and Ignite already used. Should be falling the flash forward from Ice, trying to get the second proc. Everyone's chasing him, but no one has the range. The knockout's going to miss as well. Is Trillion going to live? Oh, the slow from Ice is going to guarantee it, and there's no trade as Braum walks away with just a little bit of help. Oh, the chase from This Is Fine pays off, but that's one of those times that if Xin Zhao wasn't taking Drake and died to Karthus, who was also able to pick up the Infernal for his team as well, could have traded instead to the bottom side and been a very different story. In the meantime, there's Zillion thrown back by Lord Reeds underneath the turret, knocked down low, starts the Orin Horn, maybe wanting to go aggressive on Reeds underneath the turret, thinks wiser of it and backs out, at least for now.
Yeah, for the moment. Lord Reeves going to change back into Mini Gnar. Meanwhile, looking in the mid lane, we've got Riven versus Karthus again. Have to give... Oh, wait.
The Ignite's gonna not kill Intra, so he's actually gonna live as She's My Poison whiffs a little bit of the ultimate. Nice flash there from Karthus. The hook from Viturion gonna miss. He's trying to roam to the top side. Doesn't have mobility boots, so that's pretty costly though. They already lost the bottom lane turret, so maybe not as costly. Draven just slow farming it solo.
Leaving your AD carry alone. Unfortunately, Draven now has 2 deaths and is not going to be able to make use of his passive. Ice catching up with Trillion in the jungle, but nothing's going to come of it.
I kind of like that. The Braum is just kind of rushing through the river, sees Thresh, and is like, yo! And then just runs away. Like, what's up?
It actually just punches him in the face and runs.
It's just a little, like, you know, a fist bump to the face, and then just heads back to join up with his team. You can see, though, the wardage from both of these teams on this side. They want to have vision around the Rift Herald. They know that it's something to keep an eye on. And that's some serious words from both teams. You got to give them credit for that. They're playing as a team. They're trying to keep that in mind. 3,000 gold lead for This Is Fine. Cho'Gath around the corner. Are they going to burn the flash on Gnar again? No, they cannot, because it's already been used earlier.
So Lord Reeves using the jump to get out of his kind of get out of jail free card. He doesn't really have to burn anything important. Taking a look at the CS now. Got 80 farm to 103. So give Orin props, because this is definitely a losing matchup for him. Is up in CS and has been bullying the Gnar. As far as I know, this is a losing matchup. For the most part, Gnar beats all tanks. It's kind of the thing. There are a couple, like I know he was having trouble against Scion before they nerfed Comet Scion. Wow, really good damage onto Riven from Intra. That's 4 men in the mid lane, and Riven is not going to be able to hold this without some decent help from the bot lane, who needs to be roaming up right now. Project Jinx needs to step forward, start hitting the turret.
Yep, so she's going to do the turret. Whirling Death going to try to clear a couple of minions. Won't find that much. Vet going to come in, finds the hook onto the Cho'Gath. No free names, decides to go in, flay them forward. Riven comes in, only finds the stun onto Braum. Glacier Fissure knocks up 3. That's going to be a trade 1-for-1 so far. Support for the mid laner. Megsom flashes to the side to try to avoid another hook onto the Cho'Gath, who's playing a nice tank as Xin Zhao dives forward. Project Zeke's going to go underneath the turret, though, and that will continue to trade more kills back and forth. Karthus still alive, though. There's still opportunity for the ultimate as Ner'zhullion Nerzulian comes into the mid lane. He's got Ornhorn as well, but it's a Mega Gnar that's going to defend, and that's going to cause This Is Fine to back away and decide not to engage anymore. But that is eventually a 1 for 3 trade. Yeah, 1 for 3 trade.
Even had it been an even trade, it still would have been advantage to red side, just because you have the late game scaling, you have the tanks. They shouldn't be ahead at this juncture in the game. So even though it looks fairly even, well, actually it doesn't look very even. It's only 3,000 gold. Okay, it's only 14 minutes in. Okay, that's a decent lead at this point.
It's
and
a decent lead.
Drake.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ornn,
so
feeling good. I think he might have been interrupted in building. No, I guess he finishes Frozen or Iceborne Gauntlet. Phew, I get those two confused quite a bit.
Yeah, Iceborne. Wait. Why does the God of Fire have an Iceborne Gauntlet?
Because he's cool.
No. I give you a 9 for the effort, but a 2 for the execution.
That's what your usual ranking on my jokes are. My puns usually
get better
good effort,
jokes.
0 execution. That's pretty much how it goes. She's my poison. Still
I admire your spirit.
Well, you give me credit for trying. There you go. I guess that's what counts. Rift, Scuttlecrab, sorry, being fought over here on the top side. The members of No Eye and team are going to pick it up, but may be dying. Mega Gnar finds the stun onto the Karthus, trying to run away to Riven. Gets the slam, but won't be enough on the bottom side. Jinx finishes off the Draven, chasing in onto the Thresh as well. In the meantime, though, Riven is extremely low, trying to hop away. The flash forward from Ornn, trying to finish off the Xin Zhao, and the Karthus ult actually grabs up the last two. Full team ace from This Is Fine, as fights on two sides of the map, and Turret from the bottom side falling as well. This Is Fine, feeling confident, feeling good. They've got the gold lead. They've got Jinx, the hyperscaler, 4, 1, and 6. An item and a half up. Will back with an extra 1,200 in her inventory. Things looking good so far for red side in this game.
Yeah, I don't think this is fine. This is not fine, if you're on blue side at least. So let's take a quick look as everybody kind of resets. Wait, it looks like they are knocking down the Rift Herald right now, but it's going to be a Mountain Drake available. And I'm expecting them to kind of go for that. Yes, they will fall back to that side, knowing there are no wards on it right now. Well, they were. Okay, they're stopping to do Krugs. I almost said golems.
You gotta kill the Krugs every now and then. You know, gotta make them feel important too. So. Thresh hook lands on Cho'Gath, but I doubt he's going to go in against the 4 members that are all there, all strong, all going to pick up their second Drake of the game, the Mountain, which is going to make it even easier for Jinx on the Gatling gun to tear through turrets if they ever get on another one, which I find extremely likely. Nice little hop from the Gnar, keeps him avoiding being knocked up, and Nerzulian doesn't care. There comes the Ornhorn, will be used to knock up the Gnar, get him extremely low. He's trying to get the second from Mega Gnar, gets it just in time. Stun for knockup, CC traded on both, but Nerzulian on the Ornn still lives with enough health and takes out the Gnar despite the Mega Form, and continues to be a nuisance on the top side. 2-0 and 2. Mid lane turret going to fall to the extra shots of the Jinx Gatling gun, tearing it down and moving on to the second turret as well. Yeah,
the Predator popped from Intra to get a little bit more speed. Also kind of reveal who's around, but the Herald has been dropped in the top side, and nobody has gone to respond to that. Meanwhile, Draven is in the bot side. Trillian is kind of engaging here, but they're at a disadvantage. Jinx free firing from the back line. She's my poison, drops the ultimate, but Magazium is alive for a moment. The reset comes through from Jinx, and it's just carnage. The ult comes in. She is my poison, flashes forward and manages to neutralize the Jinx. She's going nuts underneath the turret. Braum finishes off the Vitrillion, and then Lord Reeves comes in. It's a disaster from red side, but Nerzulian is going to take down 2 turrets in the top lane and get a shot on the turret from, and it looks like he's going to kill Lord
turret
Reeves
as well. He might be falling underneath the turret. Mega Gnar keeps Lord Reeves alive, slamming him back into the inhibitor as well. Tower shot's going to finish him off, and Gnar gets the revenge kill. The Rift Herald going to fall but that's 2 games in a row that we have seen some excellent use out of Rift Herald. Beautiful plays from those that are picking up the Rift Herald, because that is 2 turrets and a massive amount of damage on the 3rd turret top side, and the gold influx, despite losing a massive fight, is still hugely in the hands. 5,000 gold for This Is Fine, who are probably thinking that this is fine.
Yeah, I have to hand it to Riven in that fight. Jinx was positioned fairly well in the backline, but that flash forward plus the burst damage just right on top of the Jinx. No reaction time. She did have flash, so with a decent reaction time, she could have flashed out of it. But it was well played by Riven, because otherwise that's a board wipe for the other side. But currently, everybody just farming back up in between those fights, waiting for Baron to spawn in the next 40 seconds. Jinx sitting on 2 items now, hasn't hit that 3-item power spike where she's going to pick up the Infinity Edge and then just start shredding people. Meanwhile, Draven's been farming and is still down almost 30 CS, or over 30 CS. 0 and 3 on that champion. Unfortunately, the problem with Draven is that if you're not ahead, then you're not really that useful in team fights. He's a very difficult champion to execute properly, especially in team fighting. He's hard enough. He's hard enough to catch the axes in a 2v2 scenario when somebody's trying to CC or block you from catching them. Oh, Bears are best, taking some damage. And
down to half health, trying to escape, but just going to fall to the Jinx auto attacks. Just tearing it through. In the meantime, though, 3-man stun from She's My Poison gets knocked up, but may be able to trade a kill. It's extremely low on the Karthus. He's going to fall early. Megsum taking some good damage down, but there's the Karthus ultimate trying to trade it up. Are they going to get the trade in kills? It is currently a 1-for-4 as Lord Reeves on the Mega Gnar in the mid lane, the only one left alive, and he decides to give up that 2nd-tier turret over to the side of This Is Fine with some brilliant play. Good moves from Riven on the backside, but the rest of the team was not there to follow up. And kind of what we were worried about from This Is Fine, but on the side of No Iron Team, there just isn't enough damage from this team.
Series props to Ice, because Riven pulled kind of the same thing, moving forward onto the Jinx, getting there, but Ice immediately cancels that final knock-up from of the Broken Wings with his own ultimate, denying the damage onto Jinx, leaving the ADC untouched and able to free fire in the back line. Well played, and there's just a random heal for no reason.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta heal because you just gotta heal. And Bears are the best. Gonna wish he had the heal right now. Extremely low. The feast from Cho'Gath just gonna miss. But then Cho'Gath smites him, takes him down. She's My Poison trying to run around the side. And meantime, Ornn is destroying the top lane inhibitor. The nice hook will bring and drag Ice in for a kill. Truly death sentence there as Ner'zhulyan trying to finish off the inhibitor is 1v2. Slams forward. Uses a little bit of extra flame breath. Trading some damage onto Megasum. Can he get the last little bit of damage needed on the inhibitor? One more auto attack. Oh, he does! No way! With the help of a few minions, Ner'zhulyan on the Ornn tanks enough to take out his 2nd inhibitor. This Is Fine, feeling real good about that.
That was the most intense 3 very slow auto attacks I've ever watched, Jake. You managed to hype that up awesome.
There were so many abilities. It kept looking like he was turning because he's using the flame breath, and then would turn back, throw 1 hit on the inhibitor, then slam to the side, but then turn back and hit again. I don't know. I love that. That was beautiful. Gets the inhibitor, trades his life for it. Jinx just laughing her crazy self by the Windrake as it's popping up, but down 8,000 gold. Not much hope for the side of No Iron Team. The one good thing that they have going for them, I suppose, is the fact that Draven, who wants to farm up and continue to grab a couple extra items, is going to have plenty of minions just slamming into the base for him to pick up as well.
Yeah, Intra playing very well on this Karthus, despite a difficult matchup in the mid lane. But it looks like they are going to be moving into that bottom side, just waiting for all the minions to crash, and then knocking down the final inhibitor, and that's going to be all she wrote. If they wanted to play it really safe, then they could then rotate up and take Baron after the 3rd inhib, but really they don't need to do that. Because no free names doesn't care about your turrets. And the ultimate, and Draven is dead.
Yep, that's going to be bottom lane inhibitor going to follow as well. Vitrillion flashing off to the side will avoid the Ornn ram slamming through. Gnar gets a nice 3-man stun, but that's a little too late as the rest of the members are continuing to fall left, right, and center. This should be the game for this is fine. Gonna clean up a fancy ace for themselves. They lost the Jinx and the Karthus to the 2 carries, so now we're just going to get
tanks take down turrets.
Yeah, they're just going to keep, poke away, boom, boom. Yep. All right, and wait, I'm gonna hype this up as much as possible because here comes the redemption. It's gonna be 3 tanks healing up the minions as well. They're taking it down. Can they take out the Nexus? The teleport for the Cho'Gath. Is it gonna be enough? And they get it. It's the Ornn that was teleporting with the kill of the Nexus. The 3 tanks just chew their way through slowly and surely, high-fiving the Nexus until it explodes.
Yes.
All right.
Gently poking you to death.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the super hype ending of game number 2 as we'll get into MVPs and honorable mentions before rocking on into our 3rd game of the night.
All right, so MVPs, honorable mentions, and shoutouts. First, we're going to the losing team. We're going to go for no I in team. I'm going to give the honorable mention. I want to give the MVP to She Is My Poison, kind of the bright point in the early game. But I think the honorable mention has to go over to Reeves. Even though he did get solo killed in the side lane, he was drawing the enemy jungle's pressure and did get a couple of decent ults and a couple of cleanups in the fight. But the MVP has to go over to She Is My Poison for constantly managing to pressure and get onto the Jinx. During that game, really the winning point in the late game was it's a Jugger Jinx composition. So she recognized that and neutralized the Jinx on a number of occasions. XLNC Ice playing very well on 2 separate instances, stopping that with the ultimate. So it was a tit for tat type thing. Now moving over to the winning side, we've got This Is Fine, and I honorable mention to Nerzulian. Nerzulian in the top lane, really doing an excellent job in a disadvantageous matchup, getting both a CS lead and even solo killing his opponent in a couple of different instances. Always getting pressure. Very well played in that top lane. And the MVP goes over to No Free Names. No Free Names in the early game, coming in on not a ganking jungler. The reason he gets it is he's playing Cho'Gath, guys. Cho'Gath does not gank very well in the early game.
He's got an extremely slow knockup.
Yeah, that knockup is so telegraphed, yet he continually went into 3 lanes in a row because of good ganking positioning. He managed to blow 3 separate flashes and then also managed to get kills or relieve pressure from the pieces of his team that was having difficulty against She Is My Poison, as he should have. The Riven is not exactly a good thing to fight as a Karthus. I can imagine. Had I been playing the Karthus, I would have fed a lot more.